Cool beans, welcome back to this video. Today we will be covering the principle of correspondence, a full breakdown. Last week I did the principle of mentalism, which is the first hermetic principle, of course, in the hermetic principles. And yeah, let's get started with today's thing. So I got a few notes here, which I have, and also I've referred to the Kybalion, in which we learn a lot about the hermetic principles, etc., etc. So I just want to cover quickly. I made a video on understanding the fundamentals of these principles, so you can go check that video on my page. But I just want to quickly run over the summary of what the second hermetic principle means, like what the principle of correspondence actually means. So what it means is there's a harmony and correspondence between the physical, mental, and spiritual planes expressed as above, so below, as within, so without. So as what happens on all planes is reflected, and there's a corresponding effect in the other planes. Okay. In summary, with all the hermetic principles, once we understand these principles, we can play the game of life and transcend any feelings, emotions, and thoughts that play into the illusion of not having any control over what happens in your life. Because often it feels like that, right? Like, oh, I don't have any control. I can't do this, can't do that, yada, yada. All these things that we make up. And all these things that we make up and then ultimately believe. So each principle will reveal itself to you when you are exposed to the information. So in this case, the principle of correspondence will show itself in your life, and you'll see what it actually means, because that's how we learn things, through experience, not through just theory and stuff. We learn it through practical application that either happens consciously or subconsciously. It's going to happen either way. Okay, so let's get into the principle of correspondence, the second hermetic principle. Right, so there's a harmony and correspondence between the physical, mental, and spiritual planes expressed as above, so below. There's the planes which precede lower planes. In the Kybalion, it is presented as such. Okay, there's the great physical plane. This is the lowest plane, encompassing the material world of matter, energy, and physical phenomena. It includes everything perceivable by the senses, such as objects, bodies, and natural forces. All physical existence, from atoms to stars, operates on this plane characterized by slower vibratory rates. Okay, this is the plane in which we are stuck in the illusion that that's all there is, when in reality it's not. Okay, the next plane above the physical plane is the great mental plane. So this plane pertains to the realm of thought, consciousness, and mind. It includes individual minds, mental states, and the collective consciousness. Thoughts, emotions, and intellectual processes vibrate at a higher rate than physical matter, and this plane is where mental transmutation, changing one's mental state through will, occurs. All right, everything that you see that exists came first was established in the mental plane. All right, the phone that you have, the laptop, the screen that you're watching this on, the room that you're in was once simply an idea in someone's mind, but now it is an idea in the mind of the consciousness. It has become something that is accepted, right? When you think of something, when I think of a creation or an idea, it's instant. It exists instantly. The vibration is so quick that it exists. Okay? This is why the states of vibration vary. The only difference between each level or each plane, as we can see, these greater planes and the lower planes, all of these things, they only exist at different frequencies, and so that's why you can't see particular things. So it exists at different frequencies and different vibrations. And then at the top, we have the great spiritual plane. This highest plane, the highest plane associated with spirit, divine consciousness, and the essence of the all. We discussed the all in the previous video. If you want to know more about that, please go watch that. It operates at the highest vibratory rate, approaching the infinite vibration of the all. This plane is linked to spiritual illumination, self-realization, and unity with the universal mind, where one transcends material and mental limitations. All right, the mental world, the mental existence, the mental plane, so to say, is useful. It is necessary, but it's not all that there is. Just so is the physical world is not all that there is. We actually come from and exist through um, and within everything. We actually come from one vibration. And so in the Kybalion, the image on the Kybalions, basically on the cover, there's an image that covers these things and how the unity is formed. Okay, so as we can see, this image here, right over here, this is the image that represents us, as it were. Okay, it represents the spirit, the mind, and then of course the physical plane. So as you can see, the large circle. So this circle over here, this big circle, this symbolizes the infinite and eternal nature of the universe. Universe meaning you in the verse. All right, you in verse. So we got like this. You in, that's I, verse. Oh, why is this pen so huge, bro? Oh my gosh, bro, that looks terrible. Jeez, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. Keep it at red, but damn. Can we erase that? Looks terrible. Anyway, so I got the U inverse, right? It's really hard to write um without a thingy, you know. Damn. Bro's trying to bro's trying to write something, man. Anyway, U inverse, okay? You get it. So the triangle, all right, represents the three alchemical elements: sulfur, the soul; mercury, the spirit; and salt, the body. Of course, soul and spirit are basically the same thing. So I don't really know what they were getting at with this, but anyway, here we are. We're gonna talk more about this. Okay, this is just what it says in the Kybalion. To be honest with you, I don't know why there's souls and spirit, because it's soul and spirit for me represent the same thing. But moving on, I see it as soul, mind, and body. Okay, so the triangle is representing soul, mind, and body. Just focus on that part of it. Just focus on this part of it. This is what the triangle means. Okay, this is what the triangle means: soul, mind, and body. It means that there's that balance, okay, that harmony. Cool beans. Soul, mind, body. This is how we exist, all right? As we discussed, the great spiritual plane, great mental plane, the great physical plane, each one has its corresponding representation, right? The square represents the four classical elements, which is earth, air, fire, and water. And then the small circle, so that small circle within that, this represents the fifth element, spirit or ether, which is believed to be the substance that permeates all things and connects everything. Okay. Now, why is this important? Because we see this corresponding effect that from this larger circle we come back to this smaller circle, because this is what connects everything. Okay. I would even go too far as to say that the spirit which you believe and which gives life to everything is that prime resonance frequency that permeates everything. That is the prime vibration which gives everything life and exists then throughout everything, gives it the effect that it has. Right, moving on. So remember when I was talking about soul, mind, and body? They represent the following aspects of our being here in this incarnation, and what it means. So soul is your intuition. This is the spirit plane. Mind represents the intellect, the mental plane, and body is instinct, which is the physical plane. And with each word, as you can see, with each word, intuition, intellect, and instinct, we have the word in. The kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom of heaven is in you. Okay? So remember that, because it's important. Your your soul is what sparks your intuition, your inner wisdom, your intuition, so your inner education and all of this stuff. This is where your true form, your true self, the true answers come from and arise from, right? Then you got the intellect, all right? The intellect is, what gives rationality and reason and logic and all of this stuff, which is useful in this incarnation and for the process of then corresponding to the lower plane, which is the body, which gives you instinct, all right? So we got instinct, that the DNA that's been passed down from your ancestors that have physically existed on the planet, and these certain feelings that you have within your physical environment, like you get as a feeling or something about an instinct, and you follow your gut, as they say. This can be used on all of these, or use your soul, mind, and body. Oh man, excuse me, bro. When you talk this much, you don't get the time to breathe. Anyway, so that being said, following your soul purpose will give you the blueprint to what you can and will bring into physical reality. All right. So by following your intuition, your soul's purpose, your divine plan, through divine guidance, which is ultimately yourself, your soul, your spirit leading you, because it exists in all dimensions and it's multidimensional. Um, Through following this, you can see, and allowing it to guide you in your life, you can then see, okay, what can I bring into physical reality? Like, what can I actually make happen and intentionally make happen and manifest, right? Intentionally manifest. So each plane plays and forms into our current experience, each vital for the corresponding one. They are all interconnected. Mental transmutation on the mental plane can influence physical outcomes, and spiritual insights can elevate consciousness across all planes. Okay, so when we act from the spirit plane, or from that place, or from that what we truly are, and from that we can then improve, mental health. We can improve the mind, we can improve the intellect, um we can improve the body, because you'll take better care of yourself, because you'll have a deeper understanding as to why you're doing things and why you want to do certain things, and you'll have a why to as to why you do everything. So your most natural state is that of high frequency and vibration. This is because you are spirit having a physical experience. The spirit energy, frequency, vibration, precedes mental and physical energy. We can live this right now to then change our experience as a whole. We know this because there is no separation between planes. However, to instill the most powerful change, live from spirit, because this creates the cause to put into effect the effect. So we'll talk about cause and effect in later hermetic principles, because it's very important in hermetic principles, cause and effect. But what we can see here is that your most natural trait is high frequency and vibration. Remember when I said that each plane basically exists just at different frequencies and different vibratory rates. Now the soul is in the spirit plane, is the spirit plane itself actually, and it's the highest vibration, so it's the highest form. It's so high that it precedes thought, that even precedes everything. It basically comes from the place of the all. It comes from pure consciousness. If you want to learn more about pure consciousness and how it manifests into the world that you live today, please watch my previous video on the principle of mentalism, because I break it down in there. Okay. Um so we proceed, obviously, the mental and physical energy by increasing our spirit energy. All right, spirit energy always precedes that, but by increasing our spirit energy, so the frequency and vibration, we actually then can change the mental and the physical world. And this is how we live the change. This is how we can live it right now, because there's no time. All right, there's no time to wait for something, because you can change it right now, with increasing your spirit energy. And it's so possible, anyone can do it. And we've all been given the ability to do it. And it's actually your most natural thing to do, is to be high frequency and high vibration. Okay. So when we want to change the effect, we need to change the cause. We don't change the effect with an effect. We change the effect with a cause. All right. Let's go on to the last page of correspondence. So ultimately, this principle helps you see that you're not separate from your soul. Your mental activity is way more important than you realize, and that to create desired change on a physical level, one changes cause instead of effect. By applying this principle, you can infer the unknown from the known. For instance, observing the cause and effect relationships in the physical world. Example, planting a seed yields a plant. Um, and cause and effect relationships in the physical world can illuminate mental causation. Example of that is planting positive thoughts yields positive outcomes, and spiritual causation. Example, aligning with higher consciousness yields inner peace. So, on a physical level, we see that planting a seed then makes a plant. In the mental plane, mental reality, we see that planting positive thoughts yields positive outcomes. And in a spirit, on the spiritual plane, in the spiritual sense, aligning with higher consciousness yields inner peace because you realize through a higher consciousness that we're all connected. Everything's good, everything's love. You are compassionate. You cannot judge anything because everything is God. And you realize these things. So then you feel an inner peace and an inner calmness. Now, I want to add that yes, planting positive thoughts yields positive outcomes, but positive outcomes doesn't always mean that you walk away smiling. Sometimes it means facing a challenge and being able to integrate it. That is positivity. Positivity is not ignoring everything that's bad, ignoring everything that hurts you and that traumatizes people. It's not about ignoring that and focusing just purely on good things. It's about positivity is really about facing a challenge, learning from the challenge, and understanding, look, this is happening for me and not against me. Although it's uncomfortable, it's hurting me and I feel hurt and it upsets me. What I can see is that I'll learn from this and it's a temporary thing. Okay. Whatever you go through that is bad is actually good and it's actually happening for you. Now, this can be very, 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 very difficult. Even me at times I struggle with this to understand and see this. But the more we practice, the better and more proficient we become in living this and living it as a reality. All right. So let's move on. By recognizing correspondence, you realize your unity with the all. Okay. You have a unity with the all. You have the unity with the Most High, the Creator, the ultimate prime resonance frequency. Your individual mind is a microcosm of the universal mind, and your physical existence is a manifestation of that unity. You are the all in your current experience and not merely a fraction. Okay, so this is very interesting because as we see here with what we were talking about, as within, so without, as above, so below, as you are a microcosm of the macrocosm, you can see through your how you live your life, how you create things, how you think of things, how you can mentally project certain images. Like for example, when you go to, I don't know, when you're gonna go to the gym or you're gonna go do a specific activity, you picture yourself doing the activity and finding joy from it, right? And then you're happy right now. Like, let's say someone told you tomorrow you will win a lot of money, you will automatically be thinking about receiving the money, and then you'll have an emotion that comes up from that, and you'll actually live it right now. So you'll be living the joy from tomorrow right now. That's showing you that there's a transcendence of these planes, and what happens on one plane is reflecting on the other planes. It's showing us like that. So as you live your life, as you can mentally project, live in the future or live in the past or whatever, you can see how the universe also acts in that way. How the universe is just basically a bigger version of you, and you're just a smaller version of it, but still you're still the whole. As it says, the quote by Rumi says that you are not um just a single drop. You are or you're not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in the drop, something like this. Okay, so you are the all in your current experience are not merely a fraction. Okay, so you are just a microcosm, but a microcosm doesn't mean that it's incomplete or it lacks something or needs to find something. It means that it's all experiencing itself and showing you, look, this is actually how it looks in your form. You know what I mean? So, moving on. As mentioned in my previous video, you are the entire ocean in a drop, and you are the micro expression of the macro expression. Just as you create and manifest, mentally project into physical reality, so does the greater infinite mind project into what you have right now, which is your finite conscious mind. The infinite projects into the finite. Okay. And that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. This is the principle of correspondence. Please go read. If you want to learn more about this, go read in the Kybalion. If you've learned something, please drop any questions and comments. Also, what I would add is that give it some time to act in your life. Give the hermetic principle some time to act within your life and to reveal itself, because that's what it does. That's how it works. Once you expose this information, it seems to reveal itself. And I'll see you for the next video. We will be talking about the principle of vibration, which is very important, and it plays, as we've touched today, with the different levels of these vibratory states. We're going in more detail on how it actually how it works, and it ties into the first hermetic principle and the second hermetic principle, and they all tie in. So everyone plays on the next principle. Please also feel free to drop me a comment on this video on whatever platform you're watching. If you want to reach out, I'll drop my X down below and my email address so you can check out. And if you want to see more of these videos, please like, share, and comment as I've already invited you to. Um, yeah, that's about it. My name's Marco. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, bruh.